Hi there guys, welcome back to the next video in my Kanto Solo Run series, where I aim to solo the game with a Pokemon chosen by our randomizer wheel. Let's recap the rules and get straight back into it. First off, the wheel decides which is free Pokemon, choose one of the three and we do the run with that Pokemon. Secondly, I can only use that Pokemon in battle, but I can catch utility Pokemon for HMs. Third, I can't heal in battle using items, but healing outside of battle is allowed, and moves like Recover and Rest also allowed. Fourth, I can use the Badge Boost glitch, because it's kind of unavoidable in Gen 1. Finally, I can use TMs and HMs. Now let's recap, let's get on with the video. Okay, let's see what we get this time on the wheel. First up we've got Spearow. Oh, that's going to be a hard run. Bird Pokemon aren't good in Gen 1, so that'd be a hard run. Next is Spearow. Okay. Well, out of the two, I'd rather do the harder one, which is going to be Spearow. What have we got for the third choice? Magnemite. You know, let's give ourselves a challenge. Let's go with Spearow today. Okay, so we've definitely given ourselves a harder challenge today. I'm going to go with Spearow, and let's have a quick chat about it. So, it's got a base stat total of 265. It's got 70 speed, which is its best. 60 attack, which is its second best. 30 special, 30 defense, and 40 HP. So, not great, really. I mean, it's decent speed and attack, but the rest of it's all kind of trash. But I kind of have a good feeling about it. Bird Pokemon aren't generally the best in Gen 1, but considering how well we did with the Farfetch'd run, it could go better than I think. I think from other runs that I've seen, Spearow's definitely the better of the two of like Spearow and Pidgey, because it gets better moves earlier on. It gets Drill Peck as well, which is probably the best flying type move that we could get apart from Fly. There's no real point ever teaching Sky Attack because it's 2-turn moves, so I don't really like using 2-turn moves. But first for the battle against Squirtle, we're choosing Squirtle because the very final fight, the Blastoise gets Blizzard. We beat that one, and because I know Brock's coming up, it's easier to go and level up, so we're going to go against the rival and see how we do against him. So we're going in this level 9. We're going to get Sand Attack, which is never good from the Pidgey. But we've managed to take it out quite easily, to be fair, looking at that. And we move up to level 10. After that, the Squirtle, and it does have Bubble at this point, so that's not really the worst thing that we could be hit with. It's probably worse being hit by Tackle. But because we don't do enough damage too quickly because of the Sand Attacks, we do lose this attempt, so we're going to have to try that again and maybe another level up. I reckon level 11 is going to be easier to do, so let's give it a try at level 11 to see how we go. And while we're going through this battle, let's have a chat about the moveset that we get leveling up. So we start off with Growl and Peck, as you saw earlier. Level 9 you get Leer. Level 15 you get Fury Attack, which might be what we need to beat Brock, because it's a multi-stage move. If we can get their defense down with Leer, we probably will have a good chance. But we'll have to just see how it goes. I mean, we're a flying normal type, it's not the best matchup. So I decided once I've gone through Viridian Forest, got a few more levels up, which we're going to try to level 14. And this was the very first time I went against Brock. And I can't believe how lucky I got with this fight. I mean, the best way to go about this is the Geodude's always going to either use Tackle or Defense Codes, the only two moves it's got. So every now and then you're going to have to use a Leer to get its defense down, and then once you've got its defense down and its attack down, that's when you can start pecking it. Because every now and then it's going to use a Tackle, but considering we've used Growl, its attack's quite low, so it's only doing around about 3 damage. So once we've got the defense low enough, Peck's actually doing a decent amount of damage to it. We actually don't want the crits in this fight, so we're doing more not with critting. And yeah, the Geodude goes down with about 5 Pecks, which is pretty damn good. It only leaves us 7 HP for the Onix. So what we're really hoping for here is just for Onix to spam Bite. That way we can set up the Growls, get its attack as low as possible. And then use Leer, get its defense as low as possible. And from there we can start pecking and just going through it. And I was honestly so surprised. We got down to 5 HP here. It uses Bide. We've finally set up all of our Leers, and we can start using Peck now. So it's still not doing great damage. We're taking 2 damage from each tackle. We take one more tackle actually, we are going to lose. So get hit by Screech, and that's the better thing that it could have done there because it wasn't actually hitting us. And then he goes for Bide, but considering how much low HP he's got, we just went for it. We pecked it to bits, and we actually beat Brock with a level 14 Spearow, which I was not expecting we were going to do. First time victory, I was so happy with that, and we picked up the TM for Bide. We're not actually going to have as easy enough time against Misty. Going through Mount Moon, we've only gone up a few levels. We've got Fury Attack now, level 19, and the next move that we're going to get after this is going to be Mirror Move at level 22, which, to be honest, you can never predict what they're going to use, and I don't really like using Mirror Move. It might be good in some competitive plays, but in this circumstance, Bubble Beam's the best move Starmie can use. There's no reason that we'd use Mirror Move when it's resistant to it. So, losing in Misty first time, I thought, you know, let's go try the rival. Might see how we do against him. We've got quite a way to go before we even get Drill Peck, which is an 80 base power move, 100% accuracy. Then after that, you only get Agility, so you have to kind of look at the TM move pool after that, and it's not great, I'll be honest. Razor Wind, Whirlwind, Toxic, Takedown, Double Edge, Rage, Mimic, Double Team, which we never use, it's part of our rules now, I will not use Double Team anymore. Bide, Swift, Sky Attack, Rest, Substitute and Fly. So out of all of those TM moves, the moveset I'm really going for is going to be Fly, Mimic, Agility and Drill Peck. That's going to be the moveset I think is going to be the most optimum for this run. If we could probably teach Rest if we ever need it, but considering how squishy Spearow is in terms of its special and its defense, I think I'd rather prioritise an attack and speed and just make sure we can hit things as much as we can. Which, considering our base stats, is still not going to be easy. It takes us all the way down to 7 HP before we can even beat the rival on Nugget Bridge. And from after that, we can go up Nugget Bridge, get some more levels, and actually have a chance against Misty. And even then, after battling everybody on Nugget Bridge, it still wasn't enough. And there was only one strategy I could do that could actually get past Misty. And it's not a strategy I use very often at all. So I mentioned earlier we picked up the TM for Bide after beating Brock. Well, considering how much damage Starmie does and how many turns it takes to knock us out on average, it actually made sense to tank the hit and use Bide. And from there we can one-hit the Starmie and then get through to Vermilion. That took me quite a lot of tries to find that Bide was the best strategy there, and even longer to figure, even longer for the RNG to really work in our favour. It wasn't reliable, but it did help us get past. And from there we can move on to Vermilion, go against the rival on the SSN, and we still haven't got great moves. We're 2 moves away from Drill Peck. Once we've got Drill Peck, the run is going to get a lot easier for a bit. And we're about 10, 11 levels above most of their Pokemon, because I am stopping to try and beat a few more trainers than I normally would. I know this is going to be quite a difficult run, so it's worth me getting the experience now as I'm going through. And there's going to be parts in this video where you're looking at the battles that we're doing and you're thinking, wow, that is very high level for what RetroBrown does on his runs usually. Some of these Pokemon, you just got to do it that way. Geodude was the same because of the type disadvantage, the moves that he got. It was worth you having to have those extra battles just to be able to get through things, because he was 4 times weak to like grass and water, I think, so, or one of the two. And then there was other resistances as well, other weaknesses as well, which didn't really help with ice, fighting, a lot of things which are quite prominent in Kanto in terms of the major trainers that you go against. So yeah, and because it wasn't very fast as well, Geodude was a very difficult run. But we do have speed on our side with Spearow, and that speed actually makes things a little bit easier. What doesn't make it easier though is the squishiness of the defense and the special. When you get onto the later stages of the game, special moves become very prominent. And as you can see, we lose to Latent Surge this time. We are weak to electric types, so to be fair, I was kind of expecting not to win first time against him, even though he's a bit of a joke trainer really. But when we kind of line up the attacks right, Fury Attack is much better in this circumstance than Peck. Just for the fact that electric types are resistant against flying types. So it was easier to use Fury Attack, hope for the 5 hits, and yeah, hopefully they didn't use Thunderbolt as well, because one Thunderbolt completely one-shotted us even at this level. So we had to be careful that the RNG lined up in the way we needed it to. And I'm going to show this. There's not really much else to talk about apart from one trainer in Rock Tunnel, which is the Geodude trainer, the Graveler trainer. And that's because now we've got Drill Peck, actually makes it a bit easier. All of his Geodudes and his Graveler all know Self-Destruct, and they know Rock Throw. So it's for a flying type Pokemon, this is a very hard matchup, and he's not an optional trainer, you have to go against him. And that means that you've got to hope that you don't get hit by Self-Destruct, and if you do, you've got to have enough HP to tank at least one. But because of that, we can move through to Celadon, and we've got probably the easiest gym matchup coming up. And that's Erica, because we are super effective against grass types. But this battle also showed something that I was not expecting as well. We did go into this battle paralysed because I didn't want to go back to the Poké Center. The victory wheel goes down one Drill Peck, it's exactly what we were expecting. Strangely enough, for the first time ever, that Tangler actually gave me a problem. And that's because it outsped us, we couldn't get a Drill Peck in. And because of that, it just started chipping away at our damage, and I'm thinking, oh god, here. Are we really going to be taken out by this Tangler? Because it just kept using Bind, it kept using Constrict, but Constrict was the one we actually wanted it to use because it doesn't stop you from attacking the same turn. Bind does. It's the same as Wrap. Just probably like a weaker Wrap really. But Constrict, finally when it played our way, we could get through to the Vileplume and we could make sure we can beat Erica first time. So there's only a few other things we can do now before the game really opens up, and that was we can go beat Giovanni, which we're going to go and do now, and then we go back over to Lavender Tower once we've beaten him. So the big problem with Giovanni in the early stages is he carries a lot of rock Pokemon, which, as we've known from earlier, we don't match up well against. We have now learned Agility, but he is spamming Rock Throw. So with the Badge Boost glitch, we'll have some of our stats get improved because we've got a few badges now. And because of that, we can get through the Onix in around about 3 hits. Which doesn't bode well for when Bruno comes up later on, because he has 2 Onixes. The worst thing though is that he has a Rhyhorn, which actually is a lot stronger than an Onix. But because of the badge boost we've got, we don't take too much damage. We can boost our defense a tiny bit. And we don't really have too much problems moving past him. We are about 10 levels above him, well, 8 to 10 levels above most of his Pokemon, so you kind of hope you are going to win a battle like that when you are a lot higher level. But once we've beaten Giovanni, we can go against the rival in Lavender Tower, and this fight was probably the easiest fight in the entire run. We're very over-leveled, and Drill Peck just tears through his team. I think pretty much every Pokemon here is a one-shot kill. And once we've beaten Lavender Tower, I actually think going to Saffron may be the smarter choice. If we can beat Silphco at the level we are now, it means that we can take a quicker route to the end of the game. We can go and beat Sylph, we can go and beat Sabrina, then we go over to Fuchsia, do the Safari Zone, go over to Blaine, then Giovanni, and then the Elite Four. It's actually the quickest route you can really take. And considering we've just beaten the rival here, let's go see how difficult he is in Silphco. And considering, his Pokemon have gone up around about 10 to 12 levels since the last battle. We've gone up only 3. So we're going to set up our agilities. We're going to get hit by Wing Attack and Quick Attack. And I didn't really realise how much damage that Pidgeot does, but we do have really, really bad defence. So much so that a Quick Attack has taken off a good chunk of our HP. When we come against the Growlithe, the Growlithe is probably one of the safer ones to set up against. I probably should just try and get through that Pidgeot without taking as much damage as normal. The Execute is weak to Drill Peck, so we can take it out in one hit. The Alakazam we outspeed should be a one hit. It's not, but he uses a potion, so it's not too much of a problem. And that just leaves the Blastoise. We haven't got great amount of HP, and Drill Peck's not doing very much, and then he uses Withdraw, and Bite Hit does quite a bit of damage. Yeah, we need at least 3 more turns here if we want to beat him. But Water Gun hits, and we're going to have to try this again. Considering how low we got the Blastoise, I'm not leveling up anymore right now. I think it's very doable at this level. So we're just going to have to see how we really do. So, like I said, I'm going to go just for quite aggressive strategies against the Pidgeot, set up against the Growlithe. Drill Peck doesn't really do 100% damage on it, so okay, you know what, we won't set up against that. We'll get past the Execute, set up against the Execute actually, and then we go put to sleep, which isn't the greatest thing. So we're just going to have to hope he doesn't use Leech Seed on us. If we get Leech Seed, I'd say this attempt's over. And if we get Paralyzed as well, this isn't looking good now. Drill Peck still does one shot, which is great. Alakazam comes out. We're not going to outspeed it now, so Confusion does big damage, and we miss with a Drill Peck. His Recover then misses, but we do take him out in one hit, and now we've set up. So we just got to make sure this Blastoise doesn't do massive amounts of damage to us. Drill Peck, it's going to be a free hit KO. Bubble only does a little bit of damage, and yeah, we can take him out this turn. So it was doable. That was the second attempt, so I'm taking that and I'm running with it. Because the next battle is Giovanni again. And he has a more varied team this time. The Nidoqueen is something I'm going to have to be very careful of. He has Body Slam. But also he has the Rhyhorn still. I don't think we can one-shot this Nidorino, so we're going to have to set up a little bit. And Poison Sting's not doing very much, which is good. Fury Attack's not doing very much. So yeah, this is probably the safer one to set up on. So Drill Peck, it still doesn't take it out even after setting up Badge Boost Glitch. That's worrying. Nidoqueen is bulkier than it, so it's probably going to take a few more hits. Kangaskhan, it's going to be a 2-hit KO. If we'd been hit by that Tail Whip, that actually might have helped us with the Badge Boost Glitch. But the Rhyhorn's up next, and to be fair, I'd rather have that bit extra defense. It's going to be about a 4-hit KO. And that Horn Attack does big damage. So we're at 26 HP and we're going into Nidoqueen. If I get hit once, I'm probably going down here, even with like a Poison Sting. Thankfully, Drill Peck does pretty good damage. We can take it out in 2. We move it to level 41, and that means we can then move over to Koga. While I'm here though, I also picked up Mimic in Saffron. Might as well, it's going to be a very good move, can give us a little bit more coverage. But while we're here as well, we also need to beat Sabrina. Even without setting up, we also do outspeed a Pokemon. But we don't one-shot the Mr. Mime, which does big damage with us, and it confuses us as well. So, as long as we can outspeed this Alakazam, I think we might be able to do it without setting up. The Met Venom's going to go down in 1. We're super effective against it. Alakazam comes out, hits us with Psy Wave. That's good, but it does outspeed us, which isn't good. He sets up Reflect. So Sabrina chose the worst possible moves for herself there, and because of that we could leverage it and get a first time win, which is great. You like to see it. And so far, really, just reflecting on the run so far, it doesn't feel like Spearow's doing all too bad. Like, it doesn't. I reckon if we were with Pidgey right now, we'd be worrying a lot more. We'd be probably taking a lot longer than how long it's taken us to get to this point. I mean, not very often I'm a level 44 to go against Koga, but Koga actually was quite a challenge. We get poisoned on this first attempt by the very first Coffin, so that means that the Muck, the next Coffin, and the Weezing, we're on a timer. We've got to take them out as quick as we can, and there's no recovery moves in this battle. Nothing I can mimic to recover HP, and the more times it takes to take down a Pokemon, the more HP I'm losing. And it also gives them chances to attack. It doesn't help I also miss a few attacks as well. So it's 45 HP now after that tackle's connected. I'm kind of hoping that it goes for self-destruct. It doesn't. Come on, go for self-destruct. Nah, we've lost this attempt. The poison's going to take us out. Oh well, let's try that again. It's very doable. We got really, really low HP on the Weezing, so it's definitely doable at this level. Let's see how we do on this next attempt. So if we don't get poisoned, that actually gives us a big advantage. I didn't really feel the need to set up because Drill Peck's doing quite a lot of damage, so 2 Drill Pecks was enough to take out the Coffins. We go up to level 45. So actually, if you're not aware of how the Badge Boost Glitch works, if you level up after you've set up your badge boost glitch, it resets it. So you'll keep like the agility boosts, but the boost to all your other stats won't apply. So it's better to set up, keep an eye on your XP points, and from there choose when you're going to actually set up during the battle. I did it against the Muck here, and as you can see, we had a much easier time. We're doing a lot more damage with Drill Peck, and even can tank a self-destruct. So yeah, in the end, Koga actually became a 2-shot battle. Well, a 2-attempt battle. Wasn't too bad. But the next battle is going to be Blaine, and this is where I would consider the late game really starts. He's got quite high level Pokemon. The level gap's starting to level out a bit between my Pokemon and his Pokemon. We're going to set up the agilities against the Growlithe. We can set up all three quite comfortably. The Growlithe and the Pointer aren't really a problem. And both are going to go down to just one Drill Peck. This is why I wanted Drill Peck. It's a very powerful move. It's not enough to take out the Rapidash, but thankfully it goes for Tail Whip, so we don't have to worry. And we're a good amount of HP for the Arcanine. It's probably going to take 2 Drill Pecks, but yeah, Fire Blast hits and does big damage. This is where I was talking about the bad special is really going to play into effect and make things a lot more difficult. So we know that setting up against this Growlithe is the best thing. You can set up all three. We do get hit by a takedown, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And Drill Peck's going to take it out in one. So we can move on to the Ponyta again. Drill Peck's going to do big damage. And we're onto the Rapidash. The worst thing that could happen is if I can get hit by Fire Blast. Oh, Fire Spin. It misses. Good. We got that. We got the Gen 1 miss. Strangely this time, Drill Peck's not doing very much damage, but the second attack's a critical hit, which means we beat Blaine. So there we go. We're starting to see that the special stat is becoming a problem. I did go to the department store and boosted up as much as I could with how much money I had left, but even with all of that, it's still not good. We haven't got the greatest typing, especially for the battles coming up. Lorelei is going to be a nightmare, and any rock Pokemon as well are just going to be nightmares. We have literally no other moves that we can use against him. Against this Rhyhorn, ideally what I want to do is get past this Rhyhorn as quick as possible and onto the Dugtrio, because the Dugtrio has the move Dig, which is super effective against the rest of his team. So what we want to do is not get hit by Slash. That's not what we wanted. Drill Peck's going to take it out in one. Dugtrio has terrible defences. And then we can go to the Nidoqueen. And I misclicked on Fly. Thankfully he uses Guard Spec and we can use Dig. I have no idea if that will then take out the Nidoking in one shot, but we'll have to find out. He goes for Guard Spec and we got a critical hit, so I still don't know if that would have taken him out in just one anyway. The Rhydon, as long as he doesn't use Stomp, we can win. And he goes for another Guard Spec. At 6 HP, we hang on, we get up to level 51, and we beat Giovanni. That's all 8 gyms done now. So all that's left is the rival out front of Viridian again. Then we can move on to the Elite Four. It would be amazing if we got a move like Brave Bird in Gen 1. We'd have some real bulk behind us. Even if Spearow... It's weird that Spearow can't even learn Wing Attack. I mean, Wing Attack is only a 35 base power move in this generation, which is very weird, because it's Pidgeot's best attack really, apart from Sky Attack. So when it comes to like the Pidgeotto run, we're probably going to struggle a bit. Probably more so than how we're struggling with Spearow, because this battle illustrates, as much as I was saying, that special like deficiency is just so debilitating. And we're going to be on such low HP against this Rhyhorn. What I'm actually thinking is the next Pokemon up should be the Growlithe, so if we can set up a little bit or just take it out in one. After that should be the Execute. Yep, Drill Peck's going to take that out in one. Next up is going to be the Alakazam. If we can mimic Recover, we've got a chance to get all that HP back here. He goes for Recover himself, we recover up. He goes for Recover again. So we're at full HP now, this is looking good. One Drill Peck should be enough to take him out, it is. And now we're back on the Blastoise. I think this is going to be a first time victory. He goes for Skull Bash, I probably should have went for Fly there. It does big damage, but 3 Drill Pecks is more than enough to take him out. So at level 53 we're off to the Elite Four, and that's a much lower level than I was expecting for Spearow. But this is where, I'll be honest, it does go completely downhill, because the very first Elite Four member is Lorelei, the Ice type trainer. So yeah, we're going in at level 57, and yeah, Aurora Beam is not a great move, but it's a 2-shot on us. So I tried this again at a higher level. I went back and trained in Victory Road. So we're going at level 66 at this point, because I'll be honest, I tried Lorelei hundreds of times. This is probably the toughest run I've done in a long time, just because of Lorelei. And it didn't matter what level I got up to, because we started at level 57, we've gone up 9 levels here, and I'm trying everything I can. I'm trying mimicking different moves, but her starting with Dugong and Cloyster is such a roadblock. They both use Aurora Beam and they will both spam it, and the only solace that I found was it seemed that after the very first move, if I used Fly, the Dugong usually went for Rest. So I tried learning Rest myself so I can recover HP, but it didn't matter. It was only ever going to use Rest once. The worst thing about Aurora Beam, and the Dugong as well, Aurora Beam lowers your attack sometimes if it hits, so does Growl, and we're a physical attacking Pokemon. So on the few times that I could actually get through, I'm level 78 on this attempt. The Slowbro also has Growl, it also has Withdraw, it also has Amnesia. So it didn't matter what I was doing, I was never doing enough damage to be able to one-shot, and my luck was just not working with crits to be able to get past them. On this attempt, using Rest actually helped us here, but Drill Peck, you can just see, is starting to do less and less damage. Super Potions are getting activated every now and then when it gets down to a certain bit of health, and we were just hoping for a crit here, but she kept using Super Potions. We really struggled with Lorelei, and I'm going to be honest, this isn't the level that I actually managed to beat her with. We still had to be much, much higher. This attempt was just a good attempt when I was at level 78. This took hours to get to this point because leveling up just becomes so annoying. Yeah, the Lapras has Blizzard, and every time I got to the Lapras, Blizzard just hit or crit. It never once missed. So what level did I have to be to get past Lorelei comfortably and consistently? Well, it was level 85. Yeah, this is now officially the highest level Pokemon that we have done a run with, and we're not even past Lorelei. Before that, it was Geodude, and Geodude managed to finish the game at level 80. We're level 85 and we've still got 4 members on the Elite Four and the champion to go. So this isn't looking great. It looks like Spearow is going to be towards the bottom end of my entire tier list. But once you get the RNG right, once the setup is there, you can tank a hit or two. Yeah, we just had to go for it. Drill Peck, critical hit, beat the Lapras, and we managed to get past Lorelei for the first time. And that took hours. Honestly, it took me hours. Next up was Bruno, and I'm just going to talk through the fight. The worst thing about him was the Onix. We mimicked Harden, we used Agility, Badge Boost. It wasn't really a tough fight, it was just more tedious because it did take a little while because we were trying to set up. Rock Throw is not a great move, but we're going to just talk through this a little bit. The next battle after this one is going to be Agatha. Normally she's actually a very difficult Elite Four member, but on this run, because of the level we're at, because we're a physical attacking Pokemon, it actually ends up not being a hard fight in itself. Drill Peck just tears through the team, use Mimic to get Hypnosis. If you can send them to sleep, honestly, you've got the match quite easily. Bringing it back to Bruno, I could have mimicked Ice Punch off Hitmonchan, but yeah, it's it was just me button mashing at this point. I was so happy I got past Lorelei that I just wanted to get through and finish the run. It'd taken so long to get to this point, and I don't think it's gonna be the first time we've seen a time, like an end time like this, since probably the earlier days of my channel when I was still figuring out the best ways to get around Kanto and do solo runs. So here's the Agatha fight. As I said, we start off mimicking hypnosis. Annoyingly, she uses Dream Eater, but we do wake up, so we can then use hypnosis ourselves. We're not going to try and recover our HP. We're just going to set up the agilities, and finally the Gengar wakes up, but it's too late. We're too fast, we're too powerful, and pretty much everything from here is a one-shot. And this was my first attempt against Agatha. And it's really a good feeling when you get through Agatha with not much problem. It's usually Lorelei, Agatha, and then the champion usually give us a bit of a problem. Lance, it depends on what Pokemon you're taking in there, but majority of the time he is not the hardest to beat. Definitely Lorelei, definitely Agatha. So I'm going to show you the first attempt with Lance. We're level 86 here. We mimic Hydro Pump because we know the Aerodactyl's coming up, and we set up our agilities. Although Gyarados has Hyper Beam, it wasn't the worst Pokemon to set up on. We set up 2 agilities, we move into Drill Peck, and it's not enough to take him out. But it was a damage range because the second one does take him out. So we haven't got great HP, and we've got 4 Pokemon left to go. First Dragonair goes down, second one goes down for Drill Peck as well. It's looking pretty good. So the Hydro Pump, we literally mimicked it just for the Aerodactyl because we had an over move that would have done much damage against it. Flying is neutral damage against Dragon, so we're going to go back for Drill Peck, but we hit ourselves in confusion because of the Aerodactyl and we have to try again. So it's definitely doable. We just had to go for another attempt. We mimic Hydro Pump. I'm starting to slur my words a bit. And we get hit by 1 Hyper Beam. We get hit by a second, and we're actually looking better at HP than what we were before. So 2 Drill Pecks will take out the Gyarados. We know from before that the Dragonairs, they can't really do much to us. They can use Hyper Beam though, so we're actually on very low health. And we've got 27 HP to get through all of these Pokemon. Hydro Pump needs to hit the Aerodactyl. We do get the hit, so that's a one-shot. Next up's the Dragonite. We need 2 Drill Pecks to be able to take him out. He does use a Hyper Potion, so we're having to start again. Please don't hit us. He goes for agility, we win. So, second time attempt on Lance. We are level 86 though, so yeah. Let's see how the champion does. I feel like I've got a good strategy I can use for this. So, when it comes to the Pidgeot, we're just going to try and set up. Most times he seemed to use Mirror Move or Whirlwind, so it wasn't the worst thing. We can set up our Badge Boost without losing any HP. The Alakazam's out next this time, so that here I go for Mimicking Recover. Having that recovery move means we can give ourselves a bit of longevity. Drill Peck is going to do big damage on it and we can take it out in 1. We move up to level 87 and that's when I realised the Badge Boost glitch is now not taken into effect and we've got Rhydon to deal with. And Drill Peck's not doing very much. He is using Leer on us, so our Badge Boost is taken into effect. Badge Boost does play into effect if they use a move which downgrades one of your stats. So it does play into effect. The Arcanine doesn't really do much to us. It gets the Leer off, so our defense is even lower. So if we get hit by a physical move, we are pretty much one-hit KO'd, I would say. Executor is no problem, and we're on to the Blastoise. We get hit by Blizzard here. We can tank it, that's good. And there we go, we can beat the Blastoise. So you see me pausing here, this is me just having a big sigh of relief. Because this took so long. So long to get to this point. And that's it. We have managed to solo Pokemon Blue with a Spearow. Just a lowly Spearow. So, now that we've completed it, things I want to know. What would you have done differently on this run that I didn't do? I mean, double team is a banned move, so we can't use that. If I'd used double team, I probably could have done it at level 60. But without double team, it takes you a lot more strategy to get past. So what time did we finish this in? We finished as level 87 in 6 hours and 2 minutes in-game time. That's slow. Compared to every other run I've done recently, that is a very slow run. And it was very tedious. I am not looking forward to when other bird Pokemon come out. But that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you for getting to this part of the video. If you have, please like, share, subscribe, you know, all that YouTube stuff. It really helps out the channel. And I really want to start growing it a bit more, and that can only happen with your help. So with that being said, take care, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.